Welcome back to Man Down Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, man, we got to talk about Jokic and his fanboys, man. What them fans at? What them fans at, man? I don't see them, man. Like the fanboys, like after every loss, they just do a video about LeBron or somebody else, man. It's just no accountability, man. Nobody's going in there and saying, hey, you know what? This is what I like. I mean, the Nuggets was winning without Jokic, and then when he came back, they dropped two straight games, and you know they've been silent. They every time they win, when he was on the bench in street clothes, no videos, and then when they lose, when he comes back, no videos. But when he came back in game one to beat the Clippers, there was several videos. I find that pretty odd. But I want to mention something, and I want to remind y'all, make sure y'all hit the like button for this video, hit the share button, hype it up as well, do all that good stuff. But I want to remind y'all something. Before Jokic got hurt, they dropped like something like 5 or 6 straight games at home. They didn't lose all those games in a row, but they have a couple of home games and then they go on the road, come back, have a couple of home games. And I had did a video after one of their losses, and the post game, I can't remember the two people who was doing the post game, but it was local Denver analysts that was doing a post game. They were very concerned. Like, we keep dropping games at home. We keep having poor showings and all of this good stuff. And I'm gonna probably link that video in the description, or it might be a option to select after this video. I think I'm gonna try to give y'all that video because I broke it down and I was like, yeah, I mean, they not playing great basketball, and I'm explaining why, like the same reason why I always been explaining it. When you have a team that puts a system in offensively, the way Jokic teams or Luka's teams or LeBron's old teams or Harden's old teams, it handicaps what you could do, right? What it really does is, the system that you want to run on offense automatically creates a problem, right? So this is a problem that don't have to be there. This is a problem that you're creating. You're creating this problem, right? So we want to run a certain system, and with this system, it creates a couple of problems already. And then what happens is the player that you create that system for, it appears that they're solving that problem. But the whole time, the problem was created by the system itself. You get what I'm saying? So let me be specific about it. The Denver Nuggets wants to run a system that totally relies on Jokic, and they want Jokic to be the primary scorer and the primary facilitator for this offense. It creates, once you put this offense in, once you install this offense, it creates a couple of problems. The first problem it creates is you're going to need players in that system that makes it work. And what makes it work is people who are willing to stand at the 3-point line and be catch and shoot 3-point shooters. Now, that's the first problem, is now we kind of pigeonhole ourselves on what type of players we can get. And when you go out and look for pure shooters, I just want you to think about something. Name all the pure shooters that you can think of that would just love to just catch and shoot all day long. And after you name Steph and Clay, you're not going to get them. Like everyone can't have Steph and Clay on their team. So you're not getting Steph and Clay in their prime. So as far as what type of players you're going to get that are straight 3-point shooters, I want you to think about them and list them down the line. People that just love to shoot threes, and they're content with being in the corner, just watching Jokic run screen and roll with Murray and just wait for a shot. Now, the type of players that come to your mind are people like Kyle Korver, Steve Kerr, guys like that, I'm a catch and shoot player and I can't really do much else. Those type of players. So you're designing an offense that's going to be in need of a shooter that is that good of a shooter in order for it to work, right? They got lucky and got a superstar like Michael Porter Jr. that can shoot that well as well, but he also can do other things, which he wasn't really asked to do because that's not what we do in our system. Like everything that Michael Porter Jr. can do, we don't want to use none of it. We just want to use your shooting, right? So you're creating a system that needs players that don't tend to be superstars or all-stars. So now you're asking, go find me some players to fit in this system that are average to below average players, or somebody as good as Michael Porter Jr. that we're going to make play like an average player, because we're not going to ask you to do anything else but shoot. Right? So those play, when you think about superstars like D Wade, you look at other big men that could help. Let's think of a big man right now, like Afran Sengun or Anthony Davis, or you can go look at Golden State. I mean, not Golden State, but OKC Thunder team, and a good player like Caruso or a good player like Hardenstein. He's a decent player, but you start thinking about all these and you start Xing those players out. Like, I can't use him. Like, what is Hardenstein going to do in this system with Jokic? So Hardenstein can't play with him. You start thinking about Jamal Williams. Not Jamal Williams, but Jalen Williams that plays with OKC. He's an all-star last year, right? He helped SGA get a championship. What would he do in that system? Because not until Jokic got hurt would they start letting Peyton Watson actually do things with the ball. So if Jokic would have never got hurt, they would have continued to go the way they was going. And not me, but y'all didn't even know Peyton Watson was that good. Because the system that they was playing, hey, man, sometimes he would get bench minutes and he wasn't a starter. Right, he wasn't a starter. Cam Johnson came straight there and was like, "Oh, you're new to the scene. You're automatically starting." So they didn't even realize what Peyton Watson was. They were starting Christian Braun over Peyton Watson. Like, there was nothing this man could do to really get them minutes, because you just don't fit this system, and we don't need what you're good at. We don't need what you're good at. We'll use you off the bench. Right, so you start to narrow down. Okay, these players don't fit in this system. And there's only room for two people who create, which is Murray and Jokic. They take turns creating. It's mostly Jokic, though. And then in the fourth quarter, they let Murray kind of take over because he's the clutch guy. But that's the problem you create with their offense. And then what happens is the fans and the Nuggets fans and the Jokic fans, they think that because the system don't allow you to do something, they think that you actually can't do it. So you create the problem of these guys can't distribute, they can't dribble, they can't create. These guys can't do anything without Jokic. Jokic does everything for them. They can't do anything without Jokic. And that's the perception that's out there about the Nuggets and anybody else that plays with Luka or all these guys who play this ball dominant style. So that creates that problem. Hey, these guys can't create. And then the offense is actually designed for Jokic to do all the creation. And it appears that he solved the problem that exists with he has a team of subpar players that can't create. And that just makes him so much greater because he's creating for all of them. So the problem that Jokic is solving was created by his system. Hey, I turned y'all into people that look like they can't create, and then I'm going to actually create for y'all and then tell everybody that I'm creating for y'all because y'all can't do it. But what's really going on is all of them can create for themselves. Most of them can create for themselves. And they're just sacrificing and putting that part of their game on a shelf and say, we'll never use this. We're just going to let Jokic do all of it. And we're just playing this system that we just support them. So all the problems that they have on offense was created by their system. Those problems don't even have to be there. You can let Murray and Watson and all these other players, Gordon, create shots for themselves and others. They don't have to be on one man to do it or two men to do it. They all can have some equal opportunity to make plays. And that makes them more dangerous. So that problem don't have to be there. They're putting that problem there purposely for what that's what they want that problem there. Right? I thought that you were supposed to play the game to where it's more simple, like, you make it easy. You get easy buckets, you make easy plays, you make the best play you can make. I didn't know that people was out there creating problems for their offense and then solving it so it can make a player look good. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing. Right? So you get you get a team full of guys that all they're gonna do is catch and shoot and set screens for and let Jokic play his style, but then they also create problems on defense as well because Jokic defense needs so much help that you got to play zone most of the time. You got to play zone a lot just to protect Jokic, and then you have to put players on the floor that are just they really got to be good defensively. Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, these dudes really have to step their game up at a level defensively to help Jokic out. And so you create that problem where these guys are guarding 5 people with 4. And, they're losing their legs and all this stuff. They got to play zone and they're in the scramble drill all the time. It's just insane the amount of ground they got to cover. So just playing the way they want to play on offense and the efficiencies that Jokic have on defense, he's creating more problems for their team, and it's up to the coaching staff and the team's effort to figure out how to make up for those problems that are created by playing this offense and being a liability on defense. Michael Porter Jr. just went on Cam Johnson's podcast. I think Cam Johnson has taken over the Old Man in the 3 podcast since J.J. Redick has been coaching, and he interviewed Michael Porter Jr. I think he might have interviewed him when he came to Denver last week to play against the Nuggets. But I think this interview just aired yesterday. He talked about playing with Jokic and how his fans, whether they're in Serbia or here in the States, they just put these bad labels on his teammates, and there ain't nothing they can do about it.
I still don't think, after all of this, the general public truly appreciates like how good this dude actually is.
Is that a result of playing alongside somebody like Jokic, who's like?
I don't care what you.
I think it is because when you play alongside Joker, I don't know if it's just all of Serbia or if it's just fans in general, they'll just call you a Joker merchant. Like they'll think you're only good because you play with Joker, which he obviously makes players way better. In a lot of cases, he makes players better. But as you see, even without Joker, Jamal can go score 40. Mm-hmm. Peyton Watson, he's in certain players, as good as Joker makes them, they're still good basketball players by themselves. I think that because Joker has been so healthy throughout his career, like people just don't give Jamal the credit he deserves, even though like there's been playoff series we won because Jamal's doing his thing. In the finals, I think he almost averaged a triple-double. Or he averaged at least 10 assists and obviously double-digit points. I don't know if he got the 10 rebounds, but no, I've always thought Jamal was one of like the best players in the NBA, best shot makers in the NBA. Got the 3-ball, got the midi, he's crafty around the rim, left hand, right hand. Like he's elite.
We had this conversation on the bench the other day. Like we were trying to put together a list of top 5 like finishing packages in the league. Like
he's up there.
It was like the only person we put up there with him was Kyrie. We were struggling to put
as a PG
anybody. crafty finishes.
Yeah,
like,
because it's a lot of his stuff is below the rim.
Yes.
Yeah. No, he's up there for sure.
I guess it was.
I'm gonna play that first part again.
I still don't think after all of this, the general public truly appreciates like how good this dude actually is.
Is that a result of playing alongside somebody like Jokic, who's like?
Yeah,
I think it is because when you play alongside Joker, I don't know if it's just all of Serbia or if it's just fans in general, they'll just call you a Joker merchant. Like they'll think you're only good because you play with Joker.
He said when you play alongside Joker, he said, yeah, man, I got so much stuff on my face right now. When you play alongside Joker, he don't know if it's all of Serbia or if it's just fans in general that just call you a Joker merchant, and that you're only good because Joker is making you good. Like that is the narrative. Like, you know, they gotta deal with that. They all have to deal with that narrative. We're only good and we can only score because Jokic is spoon feeding us. And I guess that he said my face look ashy. Now I got a little where I was scratching my I got a bump on my face and I was scratching it. But no, he said that Joker makes us better. And I just think that's the ultimate pretty girl that liked the fact that her friend group is not as cute as her, right? You know, and you know, and everybody has seen it especially in high school and sometimes in college. You know, it's some friend groups where you look and you be like, that's one pretty girl and there's a bunch of not so pretty girls. And I'm like, man, how did that friend group come along? How did that pretty girl say that this is who I want to hang with? And sometimes it's a little insecurity, man. Like, you know, I look better if my girls don't look as good as me or whatever. I don't even want to get into the psychology of that, but I've seen it. And I think this is the ultimate pretty girl, ugly friend group thing that's going on with Joker. And I don't think it's him, it's just his fans. His fans is trying to make it seem like that he's the pretty girl in the group. Everybody else is ugly. And y'all only got in the club because of her. You know, the bouncer let y'all in free, let y'all cut the line because she's pretty. And she was like, can I bring my friends with me? And they're only in the club because of her. The guy came and bought her a drink in the club and bought, hey, I bought, you know, what are y'all drinking? Bought something for her whole table because she's pretty. None of these other girls earned it. That's what they want us to believe about Joker. You get what I'm saying? So it's almost like, you know, if I won't like if I feed my kid and my kid is like 1 year old and they need me to spoon feed them, you know, or you know, a baby that needs to be spoon fed. Like you see me spoon feeding my kid, making sure they eat, you might look at me and be like, oh man, that's a good parent right there, making sure his kid eats, spoon feeding them. But if you see me spoon feeding my teenager, you be like, I don't think he need you to spoon feed him. Like I think he can feed himself. But imagine me spoon feeding my teenager and I still want credit for it. Like, look how good of a parent I am. Look at me spoon feeding my teenager. That's what I see when I see the Denver Nuggets play. When they play like the Jokic is the only person that can make a play. Jokic is spoon feeding people that are more than capable of eating on their own. And that's not the narrative that the Jokic fans and the Denver Nuggets fans have been pushing this whole time. The media haven't been pushing this the whole time. They've been pushing that these guys cannot do it by themselves. They can't create for themselves. They can't create for others. They can't get their own shot. They need Jokic to spoon feed them. Jokic has to spoon feed them. And since Jokic is spoon feeding them, we have to give Jokic the MVP. He's gotten 3 MVPs, and they say that he should have 5, all because of the narrative that he's spoon feeding his entire team. And he's spoon feeding a team full of teenagers that know how to eat on their own. I cannot give you credit for spoon feeding a grown man. They all drove to the arena on their own. They all got to the league by themselves. Some of them All Americans. Some of them, like Michael Porter Jr., number 1 in his class. Lottery picks even. Peyton Watson. People already knew him from how KD said, I seen him in high school and seen how cold he was. Paul George said, I seen him the year he got drafted before he got to Denver and knew he was cold. Like everywhere he's went, people knew he was cold. Same with Michael Porter Jr. Same with daggone Jamal Murray, who's one of the only 8 freshmen in NCAA history to average 20 points while shooting 40% from 3 as a freshman. And his names like Steph, KD, Peterson, who's going to be the number 1 pick this year, and guys like that who as freshmen shot 40% and averaged 20 points as a freshman, 20 points or more. Jamal Murray did that at Kentucky. Calipari don't even coach where one guy can fill up the stat sheet like that. He didn't even let Anthony Davis average that many points. When Anthony Davis was there, he just played defense, rebounded, and caught lobs. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was one of the top scorers and the focal points in that offense. Like Calipari always has so much talent on that Kentucky team when he was there that one guy really couldn't get that much shine. SGA had to earn his way on the court off the bench in Kentucky. Devin Booker came off the bench as a shooter. And he was like 17 like Tyler Hero. Like the list goes on. The only people that I remember under Calipari shining and like absolutely just doing their thing was when Calipari coached Derrick Rose, and I'm forgetting the school that was at. It was a red team, but I'm forgetting. When he coached D Rose, and when he coached John Wall. John Wall absolutely got off with Kentucky, and so did D Rose in similar ways. But for the most part, you got to be really good to get off like that under Calipari, and Jamal Murray did that. My point is this: no, UMass was when he coached Marcus Camby. He left UMass and ended up Memphis. That was a blue team. My bad. Memphis. It was Memphis. I'm thinking red. I don't know why I said red. He was coaching at Memphis when he had D Rose. Because I remember he had what's the small forward they had that kind of got the same body build as Richard Hamilton. He was a good scorer, kind of long, and he had like a 3. He had the last name that was first name or a name hyphen and another name like Gilgeous-Alexander, but I'm forgetting his name. He had a 2-part name with a hyphen in it. CDR, yeah. What was his name? Something Douglas Roberts. What was his first name? Chris Douglas Roberts. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. That was at Memphis. Carlos or Chris? That was either Carlos or Chris Douglas Roberts. Yeah, you're right. He was a hooper too. But my point is this: Jamal Murray been certified and then went lottery pick. I just want one and done. You got to be good to be a one and done. Michael Porter Jr. one and done. Peyton Watson, I don't know how long he played, but like, these dudes can hoop, dog. Aaron Gordon, they're hoopers. And the media was lying to us, pushing this false narrative that they can't create their own shot. They can't do nothing without Jokic, and Jokic is spoon feeding them. Straight up lie. So I usually watch a Nuggets game. Oh, I got a super chat that came in. Per shooters equals role players. Facts. Right? So you creating a system that needs either role players to make it exist or make it work. Or you need, if you do get a hold of somebody like Michael Porter Jr., you're gonna make him play like a role player. So you're gonna ask a really good player to play down, which is cool when you get a vet that has done everything that they need to do in the NBA and tried to win as a number 1 and all of these things, and his careers are almost over, and it's okay for him to accept a role that's a reduced from what what his talent level is at. Especially when you're older, because now I'm at 82 games plus playoffs, and I got to put the team on my shoulders. Like, I'm not built like that. I'm 35 years old. Yeah, I'm not built like that no more. So I go ahead and accept the lesser role, and mentally I'm be okay with it, which is what Iguodala did with the Warriors, which is what David West did with the Warriors, which is what Sean Livingston did with the Warriors. They took that step backwards. So the younger guys like Draymond, Clay, and Steph, and KD, when he got there, could go out and shine and do the heavy lifting. All they did was support role. It's okay when you ask those guys to do it, but you asking a guy who ain't even past his prime, nowhere near the end of his prime. Hey man, take a step back and just play this reduced role forever. You can't ask people to do that. And then especially when they get zero credit, and the media is just going to go out there and say these guys can't do nothing. Right? But I watched the Thunder game, and from what I've been hearing from so many other Denver Nuggets post-game shows and, Locked On Nuggets and all these Nuggets podcasters on YouTube, I listen to them. I just want to hear what that echo chamber sounds like sometimes. I just want to hear it because I've been hearing all these false narratives so many times. I just want to hear what they're saying now when reality is hitting and you just seeing them have a successful and it was basically an East Coast road trip, successful East Coast road trip without Jokic, and that was a narrative that just came tumbling down like a chopped tree. It just came tumbling down because the narrative was as soon as Jokic got hurt, but when Jokic come back, they'll be lucky to be in the play-in. They're going to lose so many games. They're a lottery team without Jokic, and they just showed you they're not a lottery team without Jokic that was winning. So that narrative was gone. The narrative that they can't create without Jokic was gone. The narrative that they didn't have good players was gone. Peyton Watson was averaging 25 points a game. We saw what Jamal Murray was doing. You know what I mean? Like, now Strawberry is finally getting in the game. He played phenomenal tonight. So all of those narratives has been false the whole time, and we're seeing it. So I wonder if these dudes gonna be man enough to come out and just be honest once we seeing all this. And I just go listen to them. And it's fascinating what you see and hear, seeing the comments and hear what they're saying, right? But I wanted to go listen to them after the Thunder game, after SGA pulled their belt out and gave them that little spanking, right? I just wanted to hear what they were saying, and they defeated, dog. Like, the fanboys, they don't know what else to say. They don't know what else to say. All that time they talk about, man, SGA stole the MVP from Jokic. He deserved it. Jokic is by far the best player in the league. It's not even close and all this stuff. They singing a different tune now, man. Reality's hitting. This is what one of the shows said about SGA after the game.
He is pretty clearly entered into this conversation along with Jokic as the two best players in the world. Like, to me, I am over the idea that like he is seen as far lesser. Like, he has been so good, and like this has been a really great showing for him, and just another example of what he can do when you don't fully take him away.
His playmaking has gotten so much better than it was to start the season. He's been so much better on that stretch, and that really does make a difference with him. This is one of the better games I think I've seen him play. Just when you look at 34 points in 33 minutes and 13 dimes and the efficiency, like it's just like an incredible combination of these kind of things. This is, and I do want to kind of make this point really clearly. I said this in the Discord, this game is actually a really good example of why people that are like, they need to add somebody else are wrong. If you add another defender, do you know what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is just going to do? He's just going to get you switched off. Because the Thunder are one of the best teams in the league at guard screens. Okay? They run guard, and then they will run you back into guard center.
Look, they didn't even want to get that credit, man. Did you hear how their voice sound when it was almost like they wanted to throw up? I can't believe I'm saying this. One dude said, I'm over it. I'm done. Like, I just can't keep – he pretty much said, I can't keep lying and acting like Jokic is just that much better than SGA. He don't want to admit what the truth is, that Jokic is not as good as SGA. SGA is better. He don't want to admit that, but he's trying to say now they're here. They're equal. They're the two best players in the league, and it's close. They're equal. That's what he admit to right now. But before this, it was always Jokic is so much better. But all the reasons they used that Jokic was better has come tumbling down as false narratives. It's come tumbling down. So reality is hitting. They can't hold on to that lie no more because Jokic not giving them the ammo to do it. And neither are the Nuggets. They're not giving them the ammo. Here's one of the like this false narrative right here. Plain and simple. Like that don't even make sense to me. Like if someone asks me how good a player is and tell me why they're that good, I would start talking about what they do so well. And if they have flaws, I would mention their flaws. I would talk about them as a player, what they do on both ends of the floor as a player and what the results are. That's what I would say. If you're asking me how good SGA is, I'm not going to mention his teammates. What sense does that make? He said SGA is good, but has a deep team. What's the ain't the goal to have a good team, to have a deep team? Like, who's walking around here saying, hey, I want people to know how good I am, so don't make my team good. Make my team semi-good or slow or whack so I can look better. That's the pretty girl with the ugly friend group. Give me an ugly friend group to make me look better. I know I'm right. I know I'm bad. Give me an ugly friend group so when we go out together, I look like the center of attention and oh, by the way, you know, they worship the ground I walk on. I'm always gonna get the best dude out of the group. They always go come to me, you know, whatever. That's the pretty friend. That's the pretty girl with the ugly friend group. That's what you're saying. That's what the media has taught us to see basketball is in the NBA. Where I'm talking about how good a player is, and all you can say is what his team would hypothetically do if you take him off the squad. They don't make no sense. Why are you talking about that? Is SGA good or not? He's good. That ain't got nothing to do with his team or what his team hypothetically would do. We don't know if they'll win 55 games without him. Like, seriously, you telling me that SGA, because they're on pace to win probably about 64 games. You telling me SGA makes them only 9 games better than so SGA makes the Thunder 9 games better than. If that's the case, why the hell would you pay SGA almost $400 million? Why would you just save that money and just rock with what you got left? Don't pay him that much money. If you can win 58 games without him, 58? Wow, y'all so daggone silly, man. And then it's a hypothetical at that. Like he's got to miss a whole season for us to even test that theory. But you telling me that you know because remember just a month ago, everyone was saying that the Nuggets would only win 17 games in an 82-game season without Jokic. Y'all pretty much said the Nuggets would be what the Pacers are right now without Jokic. And all the Pacers did was lose Miles Turner and Halliburton. So they went from the championship game to 17. Right now they won 13 games so far. They're on pace to probably win about 26 games. You're telling me that the projection or everyone's hypothetical prediction was that the Nuggets could only win 17 games in an entire season of 82 games if Jokic was not available. And we just had a 16-game stretch without Jokic, and they won 10 of them ball games. So we that hypothetical that everybody was saying was always a lie. Remember the MVP discussion between Jokic and SGA? And everyone that was a Denver Nuggets or Jokic fans was saying, you have to give it to Jokic because he makes everyone better, and the team would be a lottery team without them. But the Thunder would win 50 games without SGA. How do you give somebody the award, the most prestigious award the NBA has? How do you say that I'm going to give it to this guy because in my hypothetical scenario, they can win 50 without SGA, but only win enough to be a lottery pick without Jokic? And it's a hypothetical that you can't prove. We don't have, like, we don't. I mean, what kind of evidence are you using that? Like, do we have a sample size of SGA missing 20 games, and the Thunder went 15-5? Because I know we got a sample size of the Nuggets without Jokic, and they went 10-6 without him in 16 games. That's not lottery. That's definitely not lottery. So if the one hypothetical is wrong, maybe the second one is as well. But either way, that's not how you judge a player, how good they are, by a hypothetical you got in your brain. You don't judge players like that. He said, you can't judge how good a guy is if the ref give him something more than someone else. I don't know what that means either, but I absolutely can watch a game and see SGA and determine if there's any other players better than him. I absolutely can do it. You might not be able to do it, but people who know the game can watch a player and can determine, yeah, he's about here compared to all the other players that's in the league. I got him here. You can absolutely do that. You can absolutely do that. So yeah, I don't even understand what I feel sorry for you if that's how you judging the game and that's how you viewing it. But you know, it's probably the last excuse or the last place you can move the goalpost because everything else has been destroyed. So now all y'all got left is free throws, which is funny because when I judge players and and I start talking about what their flaws are, the only flaws I hear fans say for SGA is that he exaggerate fouls or he hunts fouls, or they call him a foul merchant. Okay, so that's a flaw. But that flaw helps his team. Right? And I don't consider anything that you do that helps your team a flaw. I might say it's annoying. I might say I don't like it. But I wouldn't call that a flaw in your game. Like, a flaw is actually something that you can't do well and it can be exploited by the opposing team to hurt your team. So if my flaw is I can't go left with my left hand dribbling against pressure, then I can exploit that flaw, or my opponent can exploit that flaw and send me left and get more turnovers for me, which will hurt my team. That's what a flaw is. A flaw is not something that they do that you don't like. Like Sean Marion's jump shot is ugly. That's not a flaw. We just don't, it's not aesthetically pleasing to our eye. So hunting fouls is not aesthetically pleasing to people's eye, but it's not a flaw. It's something that you don't like. A flaw is Luka coming up and being out of shape for most of the season. That's a flaw. Conditioning or lack thereof, a flaw. Jokic or Luka's defense is a flaw. It hurts your team. Complaining to the ref after every call is a flaw. Weak-minded hurts your team. Turnovers, flaw. Jokic had 5 of them tonight. He's a turnover machine, actually. That's a flaw. So when you start counting flaws, you start to see this player has more flaws, and there's not a lot of flaws that this player over here has. And what we're calling flaws ain't even flaws. Foul hunting is not even a flaw. And that's the only one you can name for SGA. But Luka and Jokic both foul hunt as well on offense and defense. Like Jokic defensively foul hunts as well. He exaggerates and flops and stuff on defense and also complains. So Jokic foul hunts and Luka foul hunts, and so does SGA. So if you're gonna complain about it for SGA, complain about it for Jokic and Luka as well. But then when you add all the other flaws, the real flaws that they have, like defense and conditioning and complaining to the refs and turnovers, and if in Luka's case, bad shot selection, like his entire game is just a bad shot selection. Like on top of him getting 4 to 5 turnovers a game, he also takes horrible 3-point shots that when missed also equals a turnover. So he's really turning the ball over to the other team at least 10 times a game because he takes about 14 threes a game and he's only shooting about 32%, 30% from three. No, he's not shooting well from three. Not well enough to take 14. But when he hits them, it's pretty. When he misses them, it's ugly as ugly can get. It's uglier than a masterpiece sneaker. It's oogly. Right? Oh, that thing ugly, man. Do I got a Jokic fan that want to call in and explain to me how I'm wrong about this? Because if so, I will open the phone lines up. But I need some Jokic fans to call in. You can call in, Michael. He said, Shaq put you up to this. You don't know anything about Jokic or the Nuggets. You're delusional. Well, okay. I know that they're 1-2 since he came back. What else? Tell me something. Tell me something I don't know. They're 1-2. What else? Pretty girl mindset, and that's LeBron fanboys narrative. Yeah, he's the pretty girl with the ugly friends, and we must celebrate the little bit he does because his friends are so ugly. His teammates are so bad. We've got to glaze these 8 or 6 he's getting because there's no way these guys score without Jokic assists. I was watching the game tonight, and it was getting blew out by Detroit. Detroit got bored and let it back in, and it ended up being a 3-point victory. But Jokic, I was watching the game, and the commentator said Jokic has 17 points, and how many rebounds he had today? I think 17 points and 8 rebounds, but he only has 2 assists because his team is not shooting it well. That's the correct way to describe that, because I've always told people that if his shots are falling, his teammates' shots are falling, his assist numbers will go up because he's the one doing the distribution. So if they're hitting the shots, he's going to get credit for the assists. But if they're not hitting a lot of shots, he's not going to get a lot of assists. So it's not the pass that is the most important thing when you see an assist. The most important thing is if I make the shot or not. That's the most important thing, if I make the shot. You get what I'm saying? And he said it right. Hey, man, he only had 2 assists. He only got 2 assists. I think he ended up with 8, though. He only got 2 assists because his teammates aren't shooting the ball well. What he was really doing without knowing it was explaining to you that the assists are not the most fascinating thing about what's going on. The shot making is. The shot making drives the assist. The shot making is the truck. The assist is hitched up to the truck, and it's a trailer. It got wheels on it, So when you see a truck riding with a trailer on the back of it, you look at it, and it appears that the trailer is independently driving as well. But the only thing that's independently driving is the truck. The truck is the shot. The assist is hitched up to the shot. There's no that the trailer don't move if the truck don't move. And the assist don't go on the scoreboard if the shot don't go on the scoreboard. So imagine watching a truck pull a trailer and someone gives the trailer credit for pushing the truck. But the truck, the one that got the motor in it. The truck is pulling the shot making is pulling the assist. The assist don't have gas or motor. It just have wheels. And people are dumb enough to think that the daggone assist is driving the shot making. This dude, look, and this is what I'm talking about. This is why you have to have these conversations, because you have to unfuck the mind of people who've been learning basketball by watching this generation. I learned basketball by playing it in the generation that was the best generation or the best era of basketball. I learned by playing it in their era. So I know what I'm talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about because you learned from this nonsense where they were making the assist more important than the shot. He said, what is this guy talking about? Jokic gave like 15 open looks, threes, and his teammates missed, and he was very crappy too. Okay, he gave 15 open looks. How did those players get open, sir? And you're basically telling me, and you're helping me explain what I'm trying to say and the point I'm trying to make. If they made the shots, Jokic would have got an assist. So what I'm telling you is the assist is not creating the 2 points. The shot making is. Those same points are there every single day. He said they got open because they triple team Jokic. Okay, so guess what that means? Why did they triple team Jokic? Did they triple team Jokic because he can pass, or did they triple team him because he can score? Scoring is the most important thing in basketball. Why did they triple team Jokic? Because he can score, correct? Yes, because he can score. But guess who else can score? Jamal Murray can score. Peyton Watson can score. And when Aaron Gordon comes back, he can score. He dropped 50 this year. We know he can score. So if Aaron Gordon gets the ball in his spots that he likes it at, the help is going to come to stop that too. If Jamal Murray is driving to the hole and we trying to stop him from getting a layup, it's going to be help there. That's how Jamal Murray gets assists. How do you think Jamal Murray got 10 assists tonight? Because he's a threat to score. And when he's using his threat to score, he draws attention to himself. But there's no one out here glazing Jamal Murray for the 10 assists he got. Let me see how many assists he got. Nobody's glazing Jamal Murray for the 10 assists he got. So you're making my point for me, Darius. Jokic threat to score. His scoring is his best attribute. His threat to score is creating people with help defense coming, and he can make a pass to an open person or a person that's semi open. That's basketball. And yeah, you're right. And 0 turnovers for Jamal as well. He only had 1 turnover last game. He had double-digit assists last game as well with 1 turnover, and then tonight no turnovers. But Jokic turning the ball over left and right. He should start a bakery. He should start a bakery with all them apple turnovers. Let me see how many assists Jamal had tonight. Jamal had 8 assists tonight. Jokic had 4. Oh, I thought he the one who had 8. Jokic had 4 assists, but everybody was missing shots, right? Oh man, he created 15 open threes that just missed. And then how the hell did Murray get 8 assists then? How Murray get 8 assists? Riddle me that, Ghost Rider. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about. So the truck, I want somebody to call. I'm gonna open the phone lines up. I want somebody to call in and explain to me how the trailer is actually pushing the truck and the truck is not pulling the trailer. Explain to me. You said Jokic MVP is worse than Nash. Narrative driven, man. Yeah, Murray is a real point guard for sure. Real point guards take care of the ball more than they turn it over. You know what I mean? I mean, some of these turnovers that Jokic had, sheesh, man. Y'all go watch Eddie TV, man. He gave a little. He showed some of the clips and some of his turnovers. Lord have mercy. Check out Eddie TV on that. He said they managed to make enough shots for Murray to get 8 assists, but not enough for Jokic to get more than 4. That's the logic, dog. That is the logic. Yeah, Murray had a 17 assist game. Murray is more than capable of running this. They just made a decision that they want Jokic to get the assist. That's a decision they made premeditated. This is, hey, look, this is the design. This is the offense. Jokic is going to get these assists. And ever since they won the championship, every year, Jokic has averaged more and more assists and took over more of the offense. And every year, the team actually gets put out in the playoffs and a little bit earlier than it didn't expected every single time. It's something about them assists and Jokic taking over the offense that's just not equating to championship basketball. And when the Denver Nuggets actually realize that and tell Jokic, man, you can't play fat guard, not fat guard, but point guard no more. We have a point guard. This is what we're doing. We're going to utilize you for your scoring. You can pass out of double teams when the double come, but we will not be designing for you to bring the ball up court as the fat guard. We would not be doing that. All right. But I knew no Jokic fans was gonna call in. Y'all never do, man. Y'all just act like y'all know basketball, but y'all really don't. I heard another Jokic fan say something about Vorp again. Go figure. Caller from Texas, what's up?
Salute, big man. What's that with it, big dog?
Hey man, James, what's popping, bro? Man, what you got on this Jokic topic?
Hey man, I had a debate with somebody, salute top and bottom, a long time ago, like a while back. And that was my same thing that I was trying to drive, but everybody's talking about you getting cooked. See, that's why I don't like pay attention to the fanboys and the G-string sniffers of the chat, because they're not gonna keep it real all the time.
Right.
And that's the only thing I try to prove about the Jamal Murray situation. They always try to give Jokic this praise. But when Jamal Murray was out those 2 years for those catastrophic knee injuries or whatever he was dealing with, Jokic couldn't even get out the second round.
No.
But when Jamal gets back, he dropping 50 balls in the bubble. He the one getting them, advancing them to the next round. Not so much as Jokic. And I don't know why these players don't get the praise that they deserve. Like, he's the end-all, be-all. Then you got to think about this too. Where's the resistance at the 4 and the 5 position? He must give him a competition. He could look over everybody. He's the tallest one out there. The tallest person was 6'8", 6'9". Y'all play this positionless basketball, so it's making you look like you're great, you're elite. But let that be Olajuwon, let that be Zoe Martin, let that be Patrick Ewing have to put a little resistance on you. Would your numbers still look the same with real fives being in the league? I hate the way they killed Jamal Murray, bro, and don't get his praise like that, bro. It's just mind-boggling. Like, if Jokic could go out there and win these games like they say he can, why he ain't playing by himself then? Why he need Jamal Murray? Why when Aaron Gardner, Jamal Murray not out there, he looks so mediocre. The numbers be there, but he don't win. He get his ass kicked. So what you want, the 60-point triple-double, or you want to win? Just asking questions. It just don't make sense how this era go about doing things and like taking the coverage from the teammates. You're supposed to be uplifting them, not taking their coverage away. You understand?
And you know, as a teammate, man, it's hard to hear that though, man. Like it's hard. Like
Thanks.
you know, like these dudes got a lot of pride, and you know they in the locker room with Joker, and this is not how Joker thinks. I don't think he thinks like that. I think he's a good teammate and probably a good person as well. It's just his fans. Yeah, it's his fans.
Yeah,
and Michael Porter Jr. said it. He said, "Man, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's." If it's the Serbia fans or if it's just fans in general, but this perception that we can't do nothing without Jokic is crazy. Like these dudes can hoop.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's saying it, but it takes a person to leave the team to be able to speak out and say that, man. And you know, he couldn't say that while he was a teammate of Jokic, but this is what they thinking. And even Peyton Watson, after they got their first win without Jokic, and he had a big game, and they interviewed him out in the post game. He said it. He was like, "Man, everybody keeps saying that we can't do nothing without Jokic, man. We just trying to prove everybody wrong."
And that's what great players supposed to do. And I think they have a good nucleus as far as a core over there around him to get the job done. I just don't like you say, how they give him all the praise and the credit, and then when it come down, the rubber needs to meet the road, or it's not his fault.
Correct.
Or he did his job because he had a triple-double. Nah, man. If one go down, we all go down. This is a team sport. Nobody should get the praise, because when we came up, man, you know just as well as I know, the superstars took the owners of the bulk of the loss, like John did. Well, look, we lost game 6. We gonna win game 7. You know what I mean? Like, superstars supposed to uplift their players. To me, it's not enough leadership for us talking wise, uplifting players that way, and then where is the camaraderie for us? Back then, if John had to go to work, Pippen had to go to work. Like, I see Jamal going, these dudes don't even must practice. So why they look so good moving the ball, everybody hitting shots, because the ball moving fluid. Man, the ball is not sticking. You know what I mean? Everybody getting their touches, everybody getting in the rhythm, standing in the floor of the game. Well, Jokic at the top of the key, LeBron system, Luka system. I'm a statue. I'm a stop sign. I'm a light pole. Now I gotta wait for you to dictate my offense. But then if I'm not hot enough because I ain't getting enough shots to get in the rhythm, you need a new teammate. Trade him. He cost Jokic a triple-double. Stop playing hot potato with the ball when it's beneficial to you. Let the teammates get the grasp of the game, get in the flow of the game. Because when I see the ball move like that, I don't see you going out there closing those games. I see Jamal Murray being that killer. You know what I mean?
Correct.
I see him going out there in that Western Conference Finals, going Glock for Glock with you. He still ain't getting no praise, but somehow AD ain't get the praise for in the bubble, and LeBron got all the praise. That's the type of system that these guys run. So if you run that type of system, I just hate they get one player all the praise when if I don't hit this shot, how you gonna get the assist like you said? I have to hit the shot, but how am I gonna hit the shot if I can't get the ball from you? I gotta wait till you decide to give me the ball. I gotta sit here and just say, all right, well, my son, I smell something, but I don't know if he poop or not. Well, check his diaper. You gonna walk around and just keep smelling and no checking? The basketball fundamental has gone so far away from the game. It's a crying shame, bro, and that's the detriment of today's game right now.
Yeah,
the fundamentals. And the real aspect of the game never was wrong, bro. And once you play this hero ball, this is my last point. James Harden, what Kobe Bryant said about him. Don't he play the same style Jokic play? James Harden, what Kobe Bryant said about him. Don't LeBron, Luka, and how many other players in this era play that style, and they wonder why they can't win a chip?
Yeah. Or can only get one and can't get back to the finals.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah. Now that's
that's all I had.
Yeah, no doubt.
I like cooking with you, bro. I'm like this new shift too, bro, because you give me. While I'm at work, I'm passing time. You keeping me up, keeping me on my toes. Yeah, and you keep cooking, bro, on these great topics, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep waking the game up.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right,
bro. It had to take James to call in. It had to take Know Your Boy to call in and spit some facts. But I can't get none of these fanboys is in the comment section to call in and had this conversation with me, because I want to be proven wrong, man. Explain to me why it's a good thing that what's going on in Denver and what's been going on with Jokic for the last 5 weeks. Explain to me why this is good and why this is good basketball and why this is good for the team. Explain that to me, and then explain to me how a trailer can push a truck. Explain to me how a trailer can push a truck, because I thought the truck pulls the trailer, but y'all telling me the trailer is pushing the truck. That's what I see and hear when someone tells me the assist is more important than the score. The assist is a trailer. The score is the truck. So explain to me how the assist is more important to than the daggone score. It makes no sense to me, dog. But if you can prove me wrong, like if you can tell me a duck can pull a truck and prove it to me, then I'll shut the fuck up and hook the sucker up. I ain't know a duck can pull a truck. I gladly hook it up if you can explain to me how it's possible. Explain that to me. But we moving along. There was a trade today. Now it's already Wednesday, so it was a trade yesterday, and it was James Harden. And we just heard about this yesterday. All of a sudden, James Harden, just out of the blue, supposedly it was reported that he requested a trade. And Kawhi Leonard was interviewed, and he was shocked and was surprised by it. And he said that, whoever, if James requested or whoever initiated this trade, it is what it is, pretty much. So he didn't even know if it was a request or the organization just wanted to do it. But it was reported that James requested the trade, and all of a sudden, the Cavaliers was the team that they were negotiating with, and it was reported that the Clippers wanted Darius Garland. Straight up trade Harden for Garland, right? Garland's hurt right now. I think he has played a couple of games this year, but he got like turf toe on both his toes, on both feet. And turf toe ain't no joke. And he's struggling coming back from it. So the Clippers making this trade, I'm like, man, Harden's healthy. I don't understand why you would do this. And then for whatever issues Harden had on defense, it ain't really been rearing its ugly head this year. And the Clippers are one of the hottest teams in the league right now. They, in the last 20 games, I think they're 16-4. So they're one of the hottest teams in the league. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what will make a team in the organization or front office just come out and say, man, we want to go ahead and blow this up. Well, not blow it up, but let's just go ahead and take this guy that's averaging 25 and 9 and just send him packing. Or what would make James Harden see that Kawhi is healthy now and they on a roll 16-4 in their last 20? What would make him just up in the morning and be like, yeah, I want out of here? Because they reported that he wanted the trade because he wanted to play playoff basketball. He wanted to play for a contender. And I'm like, man, this is pretty weird. Like, who wanted this trade? And this is what I think. I don't think the report is true that he wanted to chase a ring or he wanted to leave the Clippers for the play on a contender. Because I think by the time we get to the playoffs or the end of the season, I really do think the Clippers would be in the playoffs, at the very worst in the play-in. Right? I think they're surging in the right direction. They just got off to a very slow start. So I don't understand how he's in that locker room and on that court and ride this 20-game span of games that they're on and just all of a sudden think that this ain't no playoff team. Let me jump ship and get to a contender. I just don't see him really doing that. But what I do see is that, he in the contract year next year. And I think that he's already been in the talks with negotiating a contract extension. And I think the Clippers were not willing to commit to extending him this early, if at all. And I really do think that James Harden said, well, I'm trying to secure one more bag, whether it's a 2-year deal, because he's 35 or 36, or maybe if you want to play that he's 38, 39. He probably want to secure a 2 to 3 year deal. And he probably won't close to max money. And the Clippers, they just got out of a situation to where they was paying max money to Kawhi and Paul George, and both of those guys didn't deliver, and was never healthy enough to even attempt to deliver. So we had to split this up. We're not doing this again. We're not doing a max contract for a dynamic duo that we don't have a lot of trust in, right? So they already got money tied up in Kawhi. We're struggling to get him and keep him on the floor. We're not about to tie up money with Harden as well. We just got Paul George up out of here. So they wasn't willing to do it. And I think James Harden was like, well, you know what? Trade me. I go somewhere who's willing to sign me, which is basically what Jimmy Butler did with the Miami Heat. I don't want to finish my contract out here and then negotiate this summer with another team. Trade me now, because and I don't like that, because what they're doing is just trying to use leverage to get another contract, and it's really hard to respect. But I'm not mad at it, because it's business and people need their money. I'm not gonna put an organization or aspiration for a ring or a title. I'm not gonna put loyalty in front of a guy trying to negotiate himself as a business and get his money that he feel like he's due. Right? I don't think every player has to have their mind locked in on getting a ring. Like I don't like I work out, I stay in shape, I eat right, and I play hard and I practice. Those are the things I do. You're paying me to do all those things, and when I get on the floor, the goal is to win every single game. So you can have your mind on, I want to play the best I can, and I want my team to be the best. I do everything I need to do to give myself and my team an opportunity to win games and go in the playoffs and get to the finals and win it. That's what I'm going to do, whatever team I suit up for. But I don't think every player has to think like Kobe or Michael Jordan to say, my entire existence has to be about getting this ring. Like, yeah, when we play, I'm trying to win. But I'm not going to make every decision in my life based on, I got to have this ring or I have to have multiple rings. I don't think that that's what, we as Black people are in such of a, or at least we come from such a bad situation to where I think that we can be a little bit selfish and be about our money, and I think achieving generational wealth is more important than this ring or this legacy you can give me. So I'm not mad at James Harden for saying, I want another contract. Y'all not willing to give it to me. We can go ahead and part ways now. I'm not mad at that. But I don't respect when they try to dress it up like they're chasing a ring and they want to go to a contender. I don't respect that. Just call it what it is. If you bag chasing, that's fine. It's enough people in the media that's going to frown upon that and talk about you in a bad way if you just say you're bag chasing, because they are thinking that every player is supposed to think like Kobe and Mike and be about legacy. And that's easy to say for Mike and Kobe because the bag is getting secured every single time every time they negotiate. They one of the best players ever. The bag is getting secured. That's the last thing in my world. I'm going to get the bag. I'm going to let my agent handle that. I get the bag. I handle everything else. But everybody can't think like that. Everybody not Michael Kobe. But the way the media and the mainstream media and fans look at it is no, I want James Harden to think like Kobe. Well, he's not Kobe. That's why he's not Kobe. Right? So don't hold him to that type of standard. We've never compared him to Kobe and said he was anything like Kobe. He said I look like Clayton Bigsby. But I didn't even know my screen was how long did I freeze up? Y'all didn't hear my last thing? But yeah, I'm not even it's I don't have him in that type of category, so I'm not gonna hold him to that Kobe standard at all. I'm just not gonna do it. So yeah, Nick Wright really just tore into him and talked about how no contender should be wanting James Harden. And I kind of agree with that. And he just ran down all the situations starting from Dwight Howard at Houston, then CP3 at Houston, then Carmelo in Houston, then Westbrook in Houston, then Fat Suit, then trade requests, then Brooklyn, and then, failure in Brooklyn, but that was mostly due to injury, and then due to COVID-19, and then trade requests out of Brooklyn. Then he goes to Daryl Morey reunion in Philly. And once he realized Daryl Morey wasn't going to give him the contract he wanted, he requested another trade. And what did he end up out to Philly? Is that how he got the LA? Yeah, I think that's how he got to LA. Got to LA and realized he wasn't going to get the contract he wanted, extension. And now he's requesting another trade. Now he's in Cleveland. Right. So it's really all about the bag. It's really all about the bag. Right. So, and that's what Nick Wright was explaining. I disagree with some of it, man, because when he got to the Brooklyn part, he tried to make that Harden's fault. I mean, he tried to say that he they had a lot of promise in Brooklyn. Kyrie got hurt against Milwaukee, and then the next game Harden got hurt, and then he came back for a game, and he tried to talk about his shooting percentage and how many shots he missed in that game, and try to put the Brooklyn failure on James Harden as a player. And I'm like, man, he was on one leg out there. He shouldn't even been out there. I still remember a play where they got a stop. James Harden was at half court when the play happened. He was at I guess he was guarding the ball. There was a pass, and then it ended up turning into a steal. And James Harden was still at half court, and there was nobody in front of him or nobody close to him. And the person who stole the ball passed it to James Harden immediately. He was at half court, and all he needed was 2 or 3 dribbles, and he had a layup. There was nobody close to him. He tried to take off to get down there, and he had nothing in his leg. It was so bad. He had a fast break with nobody in front of him or beside him, and he couldn't even get to the rim fast enough. He had to stop and pull out and wait for somebody else and he had to get the ball up. He couldn't run fast enough to go get the layup. That's how bad he was hobbling out there. It was horrible, man. If James would have been, I think he was out there 25%. If he would have been 60%, they win that game and they probably get to the finals, because the next opponent would have been the Hawks. And I think some time off for James Harden to get that leg right, and KD. I think they handle the Hawks pretty easy because Milwaukee did. So I'm not even gonna put that on James Harden. That's why I disagree with Nick Wright on that. But the Houston stuff, I mean, yeah, it wasn't working. It didn't work with Dwight, but that's mostly D'Antoni trying to run that whack system. Harden was in his prime and was the best version of himself then. Yeah, Kobe Bryant did say that style won't win championships, and I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. So yeah, you can put that on Harden, but D'Antoni, that's D'Antoni's system. Like Harden didn't play like this in OKC. He got over there with D'Antoni. D'Antoni is the one who said, "This is the system we're playing." And Dwight Howard didn't even like it. He got up out of there. He was like, "This is horrible. Like all I can do is catch lobs. Man, you got me all the way effed up. Let Clint Capella do that. I'm out of here." Right. So it is what it is, man. But the trade, Nick Wright said that he feel like no contender should take James serious enough to bring him in and then give him an extension. So I don't know how he leaves a team that won't give him an extension to go to Cleveland. If that's the reason why he left, then that means he must know that Cleveland is willing to extend him. Like that, what that means is that he must know. It was the same thing with Jimmy Butler when he left Miami because Pat Riley wouldn't give him no money. I guess when he his agent talked to the Warriors, he already understood that when I sign there, I'm getting extended. And that's what happened. As soon as he got there, he got extended. And now he's making the same amount of money as Giannis. And he's 37 years old. He's making $52 million. Boy, that's some dumb stuff right there. But James Harden have to already know that the Cavs are willing to extend him. And I expect to hear before this season over that he signed an extension. 2 years. 2 years. I'm willing to bet we're gonna hear that very soon. And if that's the case, then you know it was about the paper. It wasn't about chasing a ring. It was about the paper. Yeah, he wanted to go to a playoff team. He wasn't gonna go get his money in Indiana. He wanted to go to a team that was gonna be in the playoff this year, but the number one goal was, are you gonna extend me 2 years? He said, what's my thoughts on the Giannis trade stuff? I would have to see the trade package. I mean, him going to Minnesota. If we looking at what Jaren Jackson Jr. got, they got 3 firsts for Jaren Jackson Jr. and a couple of players. I'm thinking Milwaukee would probably want at least 3 firsts for Giannis, and they would probably want. Let me see what the money looked like in Minnesota, because Giannis is making $52 million a year. Let me see the Minnesota payroll. Let me see, because if they do that trade, they're going to have to match the money up. And it's only really 3 players that has to be in this trade. We know it's not going to be Anthony Edwards. He makes $45 million a year. Gobert makes $35 million a year. Julius Randle makes $30 a year. Jaden McDaniels makes $24 a year. So if I'm Minnesota, if I'm giving you Giannis, you're going to have to give me Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels plus 3 draft picks, first round. So now you got Gobert, who can't shoot it. Remember, Giannis is deadly when the floor is spaced out. That's why they had Brook Lopez so many years, because he could shoot the 3 and space the floor for your Giannis. Giannis need the paint open, unless they're going to play Giannis like a big, and they're not going to utilize none of his perimeter stuff, which is fine, because if Giannis just wanted to be a power forward and get all his points in the basket and get his plays driving to the hole just randomly, not on schedule but off schedule, like I get a rebound or we on a fast break, I get it done that way, I'm cool with it. So you would have whoever at point guard, Edwards at the 2, and you have you know what? I really like that defensively, because let's say they start DiVincenzo at the point guard. He's a really good defender. And then you got Anthony Edwards at the 2 guard, really good defender. And then you play Giannis at the 3, really good defender. And then you start Naz Reid instead of bringing him off the bench. And also start Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year, 3 or 4 times over. You really strong at your defense. But then your bench is suffering because DiVincenzo is one of your best bench players, and so is Naz Reid. So now you're relying on your bench to come in and be led by Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr. And I don't think they're ready for that. But Rob may be. I think Rob can have if they gave him more opportunity, I think Rob could have a not quite a breakout, but at least a going from one level to the next, like Reed Shepherd is with the Rockets. Rob needs just his opportunity to show that he can do whatever he can do. And right now he's at the point where if he gets in the game and if he ain't got it going, he might not see the floor again the next time he come out. So yeah, Giannis to Minnesota is very scary. Very scary. But they're losing Jaden McDaniels for sure. And I like Jaden McDaniels a whole lot. He's a 6'11" guard, dog. And his 3-point shot is really good now. You don't get that type of shooting from Giannis. So then you have a floor with Giannis and Gobert on it at the same time. Or maybe not. Maybe you stagger their minutes. But Gobert and Giannis on the floor at the same time, it's something that you got to figure out. You got to figure that out for sure. Oh, yeah, they do got Bones Highland. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but yeah, it'll be scary for sure. It'll definitely be scary. I would like him to stay out east, man, because he leave the east and go west. The west is already crazy, wild west stack. I mean, OKC, Nuggets, San Antonio, Denver, and Minnesota. That's 5 teams. It's just like any 5 of those guys could make a deep playoff run and get to the finals. I can see the possibility of all 5 of them doing it. Do it go past 5? No, I think 5 is about it. But in the East, it's really just Detroit and a very, very, very small chance that the Knicks could do it. On the East, it's really just Detroit, dog. Oh, okay. Before I get to the Knicks, Detroit, Boston, especially with the pickup of Vucevic. But we're gonna get more into the trades and all that stuff because the trade deadline's tomorrow, and we're going live with the full panel tomorrow night. So I get more into those trades tomorrow with the full team on board. I did want to run one thing by y'all. So I was watching a channel, and I can't remember what that channel was. I was watching this channel, and it was just doing a rundown of Hakeem Olajuwon's career, and they mentioned his book, and I think his book is called Living the Dream. And in his book, he talked about how, because Michael Jordan was in the same draft with Hakeem. So Hakeem played for Houston in college, and his teammate was Clyde Drexler, and they used to get so many dunks. They created a nickname or fraternity called Fly Slammer Jammer, right? That was what they called themselves, Fly Slammer Jammer. King, 3 other guys, and Drexler was dunking left and right. Like they was doing that thing, right? Got to the Final Four. Oh, man, actually, I think they got to the finals against who did they play? Did they play Pat Ewing? They played Pat Ewing, and I think Pat Ewing got outplayed by Hakeem, but I think the Georgetown Hoyas ended up winning. I think that was the Final Four, and then they lost to Carolina and Jordan. But anyway, he played with Drexler at Houston. And in that draft, when he came out, he was obviously the number 1 pick. Like, can't miss prospect. Portland the Trailblazers drafted Drexler the year before. So Drexler did his rookie season with the Blazers in 83. 84, Hakeem got drafted. Sam Bowie was number 2. Michael Jordan was number 3. Now, Sam Bowie got drafted by Portland. The year before they drafted Clyde Drexler. So the reason why they probably didn't pick Michael Jordan is because they already had a 2-guard in Clyde Drexler, and they felt like if we get a big to pair with Clyde Drexler, we good. So we'll take Sam Bowie. But what we didn't know, what Hakeem is telling us in his book, is that Portland called the Rockets because the Rockets drafted Ralph Sampson the year before they drafted Hakeem. And Ralph Sampson got Rookie of the Year. And they said, we want Ralph Sampson, so we would give you Clyde Drexler plus the number 2 pick if you give us Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson was like Wemby, 7'4", all types of guard skills, could shoot it, had touch, great shot blocker. I mean, Ralph Sampson was cold. And I guess they thought the Rockets was like, man, you already got you about to draft Hakeem number 1. You don't need 2 centers, so just go ahead and give us Ralph Sampson. We'll give you Drexler so he can join back with Hakeem. I know they'll love to play together in Houston again. And then we'll give you the number 2 pick. And Hakeem was like, if they would have got Drexler in the trade and gave up Ralph Sampson, they would have picked Michael Jordan number 2. Because they would have had the number 2 pick from Portland. He said they was going to pick Michael Jordan number 2. And I started thinking like, yo, are you serious? Like and Houston turned it down. Houston turned it down. I like this. Somebody wrote about this too. And he said in his book, Olajuwon claimed the Blazers offered the number 2 pick and the incoming sophomore Clyde Drexler to the Rockets in exchange for Ralph Sampson. Right. Then when you get all the way to the bottom, say if the deal had gone through, Sampson would have gone to Portland, while the Rockets would be selecting number 1 and number 2, which would have been Hakeem and Jordan in '84 draft. Without question, they would have taken the Dream and MJ. Right. So there was almost a world where a rookie Hakeem, a rookie Michael Jordan, and a second-year Drexler would have been on one squad in Houston, dog. So I asked ChatGPT or ChatGPT, which I don't trust their answers anyway with these type of hypotheticals, but just for grins and giggles, right? I said, man, in 10 years with this team, if this team would have stayed together for 10 years, how many rings do you think they would have got? And ChatGPT said 10. They said 10. They said they would have got 10 rings, dog. What type of big 3 would that have been, dog? Hakeem, a great shot blocker, probably one of the best shot blockers, but not just a shot blocker. He was a great defender, period. High motor, long arms, could move his puppies, good footwork, strong, could jump. Like he had no flaws as a player, period. He was close to a flawless player, and Michael Jordan was as well on both ends of the floor. And imagine the hell they would have to pay in the league if them 3 dudes got together. That would have been unreal. And Clyde Drexler would have been super Scottie Pippen. Like he would have been a super Scottie. Because as a number 1, he was better than Scottie. Scottie was really good. Clyde was better when he was in his prime. So that would have been a horrible. I wouldn't even want to see, like seeing what I saw in real life and in reality. I like what I saw and experienced better than what this would have been. because this changes everything about the league, though. Like how much of Michael Jordan's game would we have seen? How much of Clyde's game would have we seen? And how much of Hakeem game would we have seen? Somebody's got to play that third fiddle, which don't get a lot of love, like the Kevin Love role or the Chris Bosh role. You know, I think that would cheat us, man. I would have loved to see what Kevin Love would have continued to do as a number one. Who knows, man? He could have been Jokic before Jokic. He was just as good as a passer, still is. A better shooter, just as good as a rebounder, and a good post player as well. I don't know if he handled the ball like Jokic. Jokic can really handle that ball. And Jokic is a bigger guy too, so I don't know if Kevin Love creates mismatches as soon as he get ball in the post. You know, it looked like a lot of hard work. Kevin Love game down low in the post was like Tyler Hansborough's. Like it was just, you know what I mean? But with more touch though, because you know he could shoot it as well. So it was a little bit different. But you know, if you think about how Blake Griffin and Tyler Hansborough was at 6, you know, like Hansborough like a 6'8" power forward, 6'9". So was Blake. You're not just towering over people with size. You know, Jokic 6'11" legitly. You know what I mean? So when he get the ball in the post, it's different, you know, than when Kevin Love get it. So, but I would have loved to see what Kevin Love would have been if he stayed in Minnesota and stayed at number one. Like, how good could he have got? I would have loved to see what Chris Bosh would have done in Toronto if he stayed. You know what I mean? But, yeah. So I like what we're saying because we got to see Hakeem be a number one and lead a team, and we got to see Drexler be a number one and lead a team, and we got to see Mike lead a team as a number one. And I just like that that reality better than what the alternative would have been. All right. But there's another reality I would have seen. I would have much rather seen. I was also listening to the first podcast for T-Mac and Vince Carter. You know they're cousins, right? Like they found out they was cousins like before they entered the league, like maybe a year before T-Mac went pro. And then a year before T-Mac went pro, they found out they was cousins. So they got a podcast called Cousins, and they was talking about how they probably could have won a championship if they stayed in Toronto. And I think about that dynamic duo of two wing players. And the one that we always think of when we think about it is Jordan and Pippen. And when you look at it, it's very similar. You got T-Mac the same size, well, a little bit taller than Pippen. He's like 6'9", Pippen 6'7", but they both got freakishly long arms and freakishly athletic and strong. He meets that mold of Scottie, and the 6'6" Vince Carter that jumps out of the gym meets the mold of Michael Jordan. The only thing that's different is I think actually as far as mentality and work after that, I think T-Mac actually outworks Vince. And I think his game translates more to a number one option than Vince's does. So in this scenario, even though all the outside physical attributes of T-Mac meets Pippen more, and Vince meets Mike's, on the inside and their heart and their mentality, I think it's swap, and T-Mac fits actually MJ more than Vince does. You know, so but that's not the only one I think about. Recently, the way T-Mac and Vince broke up because T-Mac couldn't get his proper due while he was in Toronto. They didn't know how to navigate and figure it out. He felt like he had to leave in order to get his proper due. Same thing that's going on with Kuminga right now. But he did that. What happened to Toronto and Vince and T-Mac is what everyone in the media tried to make happen to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Another very similar Tatum is the T-Mac, Jaylen Brown is the Vince. Very similar. And it took them 4 years to, maybe 5 years for them to finally, they got to the finals and lost and then got back again and won. It took them a long time to try to get to the promised land and figure everything out with their dynamic. And Toronto didn't give Vince and T-Mac that time or their opportunity. And I think you could have got similar outcomes if T-Mac and Vince would have stayed together, man. So a missed opportunity. But I'm glad Jaylen Brown and Tatum didn't split up when everybody was trying to make them split up, because they kept failing and not getting to what they wanted to get. The last thing I want to talk about, though, is really funny. And it's the Caitlin Clark was on NBC Sunday, and she was pregame with Vince Carter and Reggie Miller. Not Vince Carter, Carmelo, Maria Taylor, and Reggie Miller. Pregame, and they're talking, having this conversation. And it got to the point where Maria Taylor asks a player comparison of Caitlin Clark that's in the league, like what y'all say, right? Now, mind you, they've been calling this girl Steph Curry ever since college. And the only thing that's really similar with her and Steph is that they both shoot deep threes. And they shoot a lot of threes. They throw them up. They jacking them up. Ever since college. They both been jacking threes up since college. I think Steph is more of a pure shooter. I don't think Caitlin Clark is a pure shooter. She's a shot jacker, and she can make deep threes, and she shoot a lot of them. I think Caitlin Clark is very similar to the way Luka is. If Luka's hit some threes, and he hit contestant threes, deep threes, hands in his face threes, and all that, but he take a lot of them, and he don't shoot a high percentage, and neither does Caitlin Clark. She is not a Dell Curry type shooter or a Steph Curry type shooter. She's not a pure shooter. She's a Luka that's high volume, that takes a lot of threes, and when they go in, it just looks good. Right? She's not a pure shooter. So this Steph comparison is not really a good one, right? But the media keep throwing Caitlin Clark on people and attaching her name to Steph's name only because they both pulled deep threes. But so did Jimmer Fredette. Jimmer Fredette pulled deep threes as well. And look, if that's the only name you can think of when you see a deep three. Nobody's comparing freaking Ionescu, who's a better shooter than Caitlin Clark. Nobody's comparing her to Steph Curry. And we don't need to. But Steph Curry is such a big figure or global figure, and so is Caitlin. And her fans want her to be compared to Steph so bad. They don't want to be compared, and it's no comparison. But anyway, Reggie Miller got a little bit too literal. And when Maria Taylor asked Reggie, she asked Reggie first, how do you see Caitlin Clark? And when this man said Peyton Pritchard, Caitlin Clark's face went from a smile to a frown. So she couldn't even hide it on camera. She was pissed off, and her fans are hot. Her fans been going off on Reggie Miller. But anyway, I'll let you hear some of it.
I'm actually curious too. I know you guys have seen Caitlin play. She's a one of ones, but is there like a comparison of someone either you played with or you guys watching the game right now that reminds you of the young lady to your right?
I like Peyton Pritchard from Boston, the way he's able to handle the basketball. He makes big shots when the shot clock's running down, a lot like this young lady right here. Isn't afraid of the big moment and is a champion like she's soon to be.
What about you, Mella?
So here's the thing. Reggie Miller was being a realist. And sometimes when you ask people certain questions, they don't know, or I ain't gonna say they don't know. Some people don't know, but some people don't think of it like a fan. Some people think of it like literally. I remember when like when podcasts first got popular and players was getting on all these podcasts, people would always ask them questions like, give me your top 5 all time lineup, right? And when you hear that, the way fans think is a couple of names you can't leave out. You can't leave out LeBron's name, you can't leave out Jordan's name, you can't leave out it's certain names you can't leave out. And so when you ask that question to some people, they realize it's some names that I absolutely have to say unless I want to be controversial. So they'll be like, yeah, give me Magic at the 1, Jordan at the 2, LeBron at the 3, Shaq at the 5, and give me Tim Duncan at the 4, right? Okay, cool. But it's some people who actually think deeper than that, because I just threw out 5 names that I feel like is the best at their position or from a fan perspective. But it's some people that's thinking, how is this team going to work? What offense are we going to run? Right? If I have Magic, I don't need LeBron because Magic's going to have the ball. So what is LeBron going to do? LeBron needs the ball too. So give me Bird. I got Magic, and then give me Bird as a shooter. And I got Jordan because this is going to be my primary scorer. And then if I'm going through Jordan, maybe I don't need a scoring. I don't need 2 scoring bigs. So don't give me Duncan and Shaq. Give me, I take Hakeem at the 5 and at the 4. I mean, I'm sure give me Rodman. You get what I'm saying? Like, people might think that way. They might be thinking the lineup, how is it going to work? What offense am I going to run? Who am I running it through? Who's my primary scorer? Who's my primary facilitator? That's how some people think. People mind thinks that way. So when Reggie was asked this question, he didn't think that everyone's been comparing her to Steph. So I must say Steph or somebody. I got to say somebody that's like a top 5 to 10 player in the league. I have to say Luka. I had to say Steph. I had to say the status quo. I had to say what's been cliche for the last 3 years. But he wasn't thinking that way. He was thinking about a real game that I can compare her game to. And he said Peyton Pritchard, which is a good player. He takes threes. He takes deep threes. And when he got the ball, he got the ball like Caitlin. Right now, do I think that comparison is the best comparison? No, I don't think so. I think she plays triple-double basketball. I think Luka is a better comparison, right? When we talk about the guys that play triple-double basketball, we talk about Luka and we talk about Caitlin Clark. We talk about Harden. We talk about Westbrook. We talk about LeBron. So any perimeter player, of course not LeBron, but if you want to say, and of course not Westbrook because he don't jack the threes up that way. But if you want to say Harden or Luka, that's absolutely a decent comparison. They do the same thing. They don't play defense. They can't play defense. They are ball dominant. They hold the ball in their hand until it's time to get an assist. They very high volume assist people, and they're very 3-point heavy as well. So yeah, I think Harden and Luka might be very good comparisons. And I don't think Peyton Pritchard actually plays like that. I think he plays a better brand of basketball than Caitlin Clark. So yeah, the Reggie Miller comparison was a miss for me, but not for the same reason that her fans think is a miss. Her fans are pissed off because they wanted to hear a more prestigious name. They wanted to hear a name like Steph. That's why they're mad.
To me, she nailed it. It would be Luka for me. The way that you're able to play in that open court, to see the vision that you have, to be able to shoot at the drop of a dime, to be able to pull up across half court. You keep the defensive thinking every single time, not knowing what you're going to do. And again, you have that too, and that pick and roll, keeping them in jail and then understanding how to operate out of that. You have it. You have it.
If we are
So here's Rachel Demeter, who, when she was in media, and I thought she was cool. I like her. I think she played collegiate basketball as well. I used to like some of her content, and sometimes she'll be shooting the ball. And I think she played in the celebrity basketball game during the All-Star like maybe 4 years ago. I like Rachel Demeter little basketball game, man. She's a cool little player. But she is gone nuts over this Caitlin Clark stuff. Like, she's absolutely obsessed, right? So she got her whole podcast is just based on Caitlin Clark pretty much. Like, I see none of her videos come across my feed unless it's replying to something that somebody did or said to Caitlin Clark. Like, that's how she get all her views. I don't know what else she talks about other than Caitlin Clark. But she took offense to this, and she spoke about it on her podcast.
Talking about WNBA and NBA comps, we are not saying that a WNBA player can play in the NBA or if they were going to play one-on-one. And I feel like a lot of people, it just went straight over their head. They were like, Peyton Pritchard is so much better than Caitlin Clark. We're saying an NBA player comp, which I do also think is interesting. Caitlin Clark and Peyton Pritchard are the same size. Immediately take that out of the argument. Caitlin Clark is a bigger guard for the WNBA. Peyton Pritchard plays very small. When you look at Caitlin Clark's game, obviously outside shooting, you can't leave her open at half court. You have to pick her up at least half court.
So her first thing that when she thinks about a player comparison to Caitlin Clark, her first thing she said was the size. Peyton Pritchard plays small, compared to what Caitlin plays. Yeah, Caitlin's listed at like 6 foot maybe. And for WNBA, 6 foot is a big guard, a big point guard. Peyton Pritchard is listed at 6 foot, and that's a small point guard. Most of the point guards 6'3", and like Steph is 6'3", right? So even Peyton Pritchard is smaller than Steph, right? So I agree with her on that. That's one of the differences that makes the Peyton Pritchard comparison a little off for me is, they don't really play that similar, right? One is a big guard, one's a small guard. That makes it different already, right? Then she said Caitlin Clark gets picked up at half court. Well, if Peyton Pritchard decided to play for a team and that team said, we're going to let you pull whatever three you want to pull, you can pull up from anywhere, he would be getting picked up like that too. If Trae Young shot him deep, if the only reason why people are picked up like that is because you will take those shots, and those are undisciplined shots. In real basketball, no coach would let you routinely take logo shots and half court shots. Like, why would we want that shot? But a pure shooter like Steph, he got to the point where, okay, we just gonna have to allow it. Because this dude is a pure shooter. Caitlin Clark is not that, but she still takes them. So people have to divorce themselves from the thought process that we're picking up from half court, so that makes her so much different than everybody else. The fact that you take those type of shots makes it different, but it's not a good thing, right? For Steph, so just because they both take deep threes don't mean that Steph and Caitlin Clark are comparable players. There's like Caitlin Clark is far off from Steph is Peyton Pritchard and Caitlin Clark are. Like, it really stops at the logo threes for Steph and Caitlin. It stops at that. That's it. There's no more comparison. Once you say logo threes, Steph and Caitlin Clark, then after that, they're separate players. There's no more comparison.
The times she is being face guarded, she is being double teamed.
She's been face guarded, double teamed out. So basically, they taking offense to the fact that the attention that Caitlin Clark has, you have to compare her to a player that has that type of attention as well. They don't care nothing about the actual player comparison.
Is being picked up full court because that is how much of a threat that she is on the court. I have never once seen Peyton Pritchard be FaceTimed, double teamed, or picked up.
So what other player you seen being face guarded and double teamed? What other player? Caitlin has the ball in her hand 90% of the time she's on the floor. And the reason why they was face guarding her was because she couldn't handle it.
honestly, he doesn't even need to be picked up at half court. Second.
Yeah, he don't need to be picked up at half court, not because he can't hit the shot, but because he's not dumb enough to keep taking those shots. And no team is going to let their 6-man come out there and logo three it up. Nobody on Boston takes logo threes. They're disciplined. So you keep trying to separate her from whatever player comp that someone throws out there by saying that they're not picking him up at half court. Who the hell cares? That nobody's taking those shots. Just Steph and Dame Lillard. And she ain't neither one of them type players.
I know that they are both point guards. Payton Pritchard actually goes downhill a lot more than
That's
Caitlin
true.
Clark does.
That's
Playmaking ability. Caitlin Clark led the league in assists. She broke the in-game assist records during her rookie season. She also led the league in points generated. She is a playmaker first. I would arguably say that her playmaking abilities, getting her teammates involved, is even a stronger skill than her three-point shooting abilities. Payton Pritchard doesn't demand the kind of attention on the floor as Caitlin Clark does.
That's not how you do player comparisons by how a team reacts to them. Especially when you know they're in different roles. Like Payton Pritchard is the offense is not designed to say, hey man, we're just trying to get Payton Pritchard as many shots from three as possible today. That's not. And if they did, you know what I'm saying? If they did design that for Payton Pritchard, they would give him the same type of attention that they give Caitlin, because he's more capable of hitting the threes than Caitlin is. He's a better 3-point shooter than Caitlin Clark. Like he just is. So if they was running him off screens and giving him the green light to take him from logo as soon as he passed half court and all that stuff, then maybe they would defend him like that. But they don't defend him like that because they don't have no one's dumb enough to design an offense like that except the people that coach Luka, Harden, and Caitlin Clark. Who else dumb enough to say, hey man, I want my point guard to take logo threes, take any three she wants, take 10 plus threes a game, and then I'm just going to run them off screens every play and try to design an assist for them. And if it fails, you can just step back and shoot a three. Like there's nobody dumb enough in professional sports to design that type of offense except the people that coach Luka and Caitlin Clark and James Harden. Those are only the people that's dumb enough to do that. And she bragging about it like, oh man, this means that, come on, man.
He's not guarded the same way. He's a good player. This is no shade to Payton Pritchard. A lot of us who are fans of Caitlin Clark and also fans of the NBA were very confused by this player comparison.
They was confused by that. I mean, why is it? It was funny to some people. Like, yeah, it was funny to see her face when Reggie said that. But okay, I get it. And every player comparison is there's no glove fit. Well, like, yeah, that makes sense. Y'all just offended as fans because y'all wanted to hear a more prestigious name. Y'all wanted to hear Steph's name. Y'all was okay with the Luka comparison, and that's the closest you can get to a Caitlin Clark comparison. They both play triple-double basketball, high number of assists because the offense is designed for you to get a high number of assists, and a high volume 3-point shooter. Not as athletically gifted to beat your man consistently off the dribble, so you need a high screen and roll every play. And if you can't get around someone, you're gonna step back and shoot a three. And you love going left with your dribble to step back for your threes. And then you don't play defense. So the closest comparison is Luka or James Harden. That's the closest comparison. But they mad because Reggie didn't come in and be like, oh, yeah, she's Steph Curry. No, she's not. No, she's not. Anescu plays more like Steph Curry than Caitlin Clark does. You get what I'm saying? And when a better scorer came on Steph Curry's team, first of all, Steph Curry does a lot of damage without the ball. That's why when KD came over there, it wasn't a clash. But when you put a dominant scorer beside Luka or Caitlin Clark, like they always have, like Mitchell is probably one of the best scoring guards in the league. I mean, she is really good, and she's been really good since high school. I mean, at Ohio State, she was a problem. She is an unbelievable scorer, and so is Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving played beside Luka. And it's a struggle because they always got the ball, and you just got to figure out how you go get 25 because you need 25 in that offense from your co-star. So Kelsey Mitchell, dominant scorer, but when Caitlin Clark got hurt, just like Jokic got hurt this year, and we were able to see Jamal Murray how good he is. Same thing that with Kelsey Mitchell. And they almost went deep and got to the finals and took, I don't think they do 7-game series. I'm forgetting what it was. I think it's best of 5 though. But that was in the conference finals against the champions, the Las Vegas Aces, against the best player in the world for females, which is Asia Wilson. And they was 1 game away from winning it. They was in a deciding game, and they lost to the Aces without Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston handled that. But when Caitlin is on the floor, the offense is different because Kelsey Mitchell is I mean, she's so good, she's going to get her points, period. But she has no playmaking responsibilities when she's on the floor with Caitlin. And then Aaliyah Boston rarely gets the ball in the post. It's Aaliyah Boston setting screens and doing screen roll with Caitlin. But Aaliyah Boston could play more her game without Caitlin on the floor and playing the post a little bit, and Kelsey Mitchell could play more of her game, and she had some responsibility as a point guard to distribute, and it worked just fine. And the crazy thing about it is after Caitlin got hurt, the point guard that was starting got hurt, and then the backup point guard got hurt, and then they had to sign a point guard off the street, and they signed another point guard off the street. They was pulling people off the street that added this team. And every time somebody got hurt and they just threw somebody on the team got better, and they end up going further. Like they wasn't expected to go nowhere this season in the playoffs. They went to the conference finals and was 1 game away from the finals without Caitlin. You know how bad. First of all, the narrative we talked about at the beginning of the show, how bad the narratives for the Denver Nuggets and Jokic are falling apart now. All the narratives for Caitlin and the Indiana Fever fell apart this season with her getting hurt. But we go forget about them when the season start. Like when the season start, like her fans couldn't believe it. Like they went from complaining. Well, first of all, they said that the Fever is not going anywhere without Caitlin. She has to create the same narrative. She got to create everybody's shot. They're not good enough to create for themselves and stuff like that. And I'm like, are you serious? Have you seen Kelsey Mitchell? Wait, you just came to the WNBA. How you know these players not good enough to create for themselves? So that narrative always followed them. And when she got hurt, they seen that it wasn't true. And they went from saying they wasn't going to win nothing to now when they started winning, they're like, oh, did you see Caitlin Clark coaching them up on the bench? They're winning because of Caitlin is coaching them. Same thing they said about Jokic. When they was winning, they was like, did you see Jokic over there coaching them up? I'm like, hey, they just would never admit that what they thought was true wasn't true. And the Fever was fine without Caitlin. But guess what? When she comes back with her 29% three-point percentage, no, as a matter of fact, last season she was shooting 17%. She was shooting 29% field goal. Like she was horrible last year, dog. Let's keep this junk real. She was horrible. But that's how people do, man. But Reggie Miller, man, that was funny, dog. They mad at Reggie, boy, but that was funny. Yeah, hey, when y'all get a chance, go and type in Reggie Miller, Caitlin Clark on YouTube and watch all of the videos that was made by the fanboys and the fangirls. Bro, they piss. I'm telling you, boy, it's a cult. The biggest cults I've seen in my lifetime is the Church of Jim Jones, the Caitlin Clark cult, the LeBron James cult, the Jokic cult, and MAGA. Top 5 cults of all time in America. It's insane, dog. But it is what it is, man. I catch y'all tomorrow, man. We're gonna be talking about this this trade deadline tomorrow with the full panel, man. So I catch y'all tomorrow. Until then, man, peace.